Nile Petroleum is the national oil company that represents the commercial entity of government, basically to generate revenue for the government in order to stabilize the economy. It is the operator, or rather a national company, that actually represents the abundant resources that are in the country, as discussed in the 2 days workshop. Nilepet was established obviously in 2011, right after independence. We inherited the sharing agreement from Sudan, which is the EPSA, along with all other agreements, the TA, and all other agreements such as JOXA, which is Joint Operating Agreements. We have 3 or 4 participating interests, Petronas, CNPC, ONGC of China, of course, in India, as well as Malaysia. First of all, South Sudan is positioned in the region strategically in terms of oil and gas resource. Number one is the culture itself. The environment is very conducive for operation. It is a field that has already been producing, and obviously, of course, being a post-conflict nation, the regulations are not really very strict. There's that element of flexibility, for example, tax exemptions in certain products. And also, what a lot of people don't see is that South Sudan population is almost 70 to 80% young people. And majority of these individuals actually, or these young people, are educated outside the country. And I think it's something that not many people talk about this. We have a generation that grew up in East Africa, in Sudan, in diaspora. They all came back home, and each of them come with a lot of experience. So accessing manpower is not a very big issue. The only issue is the mechanism and the tools deployed in how to identify the right ones is what we're working on at the National Oil Company. So Nilepet, right now it's at the transformation stage. We had to redefine the business models. We have to look at how the global economy is moving, looking at geopolitical problems, and obviously the constant fluctuation of oil prices going up and down. So being a national oil company, we are positioned in we are in a better position to actually attract more investors. We talk about number 3 country in Africa. You can just imagine that, with the 3-point-something billion barrels of crude reserve, of which yesterday I actually mentioned we have almost, 850 million barrels of proven reserve. So meaning you can produce it tomorrow if you put in your money. So yes, Nilepet is positioned to actually bring in more technology, obviously more manpower, and of course the local expertise are also able to produce the results that anyone needs at a very minimal cost compared to bringing expatriates. Right now, in my view, Nilepet I still believe Nilepet is the only expert in the region in terms of oil and gas production. The other region, Kenya, is still in exploration stage and development stage. Of course, there are 3 stages of oil and gas. Obviously, the exploration, the development, and of course, the production stage. South Sudan has gone through that already. We did the development during Sudan time. We are now on the production stage. So meaning the volume of what we have, Kenya doesn't have it, in terms of oil production or in terms of oil reserve. In terms of expertise as well, they don't have the technology yet. Of course, they're learning from the mistakes of what has been going on in South Sudan oil and gas operation. But nevertheless, the fact remains, South Sudan will always provide that support or that technology to our neighbors in order for us to kind of work together and not only benefit the economy of South Sudan, but of course the economy of our neighbors. But this key thing that we need to really underscore here. One is the fact that South Sudan is obviously the nucleus of East African economy. We look at it now, we have a lot of Kenyans here, a lot of Ugandans are here doing business. But you can't see the other way around, okay? A lot of times we actually export our resources to these countries, but nobody talks about this. And I think we mentioned in the conference yesterday that What is actually hurting us more is people telling our own stories. We're not allowed to tell our own stories. And I think that's the leadership Nilepet is trying to insert into the region. We should be able to tell people that come to South Sudan, come and invest, come and explore, come and produce, and you make more resource here. Finally, as we are thinking about this African solution for African problems, as a region, Kenya and Uganda has a lot to learn from here. We have a refinery, modular refinery. If the production is to a certain level, my next market will be Kenya, next door. If I have any other, petrochemicals or byproduct of this refinery, my next market will be Uganda. So there is a lot to share from South Sudan rather than the other way around. So we are very well positioned in the region. We believe, we're now going to start telling our own stories. And I remember one Kenyan businessman, I think through Uganda, we had a workshop or a conference in Uganda, and they realized that we have a refinery. And one of the products that we produce in the refinery is a HFO, which is heavy fuel oil. So they are now interested to buy it for their own industries. So yes, South Sudan has a lot to offer the region, and it's just a matter of time, but obviously we have a lot to offer. I guess the takeaway from this conference is that I think more than ever before, there is that overall sense of comfort in dealing with Nilepet, simply by doing what we are supposed to do as a responsible national oil company. It's just to be transparent, show everyone that you're very transparent, you're also accountable, and obviously your interest is to generate revenue for the government. It's a very simple mandate. Go out there, make money for the government, remit into the treasury. And that's how simple it gets. However, for the investors that basically had the anxiety of negative PR, that South Sudan is very dangerous, as soon as you land, somebody might kidnap you or put a gun on you, it's not the story. So they realize South Sudan is very peaceful, more than any other parts of the world. South Sudan culture is very one of those welcoming cultures. And the hospitality that everybody kind of fell over here in this conference. So yeah, we're very, very comfortable, and I believe a lot of people will begin to come here. Because we're selling our own story now. I'm sitting here trying to tell you that, come, anybody who wants to have a strike a deal with Nilepet in EOR, come, I sign a contract with you. I need to beef up my production. So what do I have to do? I have to buy new technology, which is enhanced oil recovery technologies, which is obviously the panel that's going on right now. You want to come in and invest in some of my subsidiaries that are specialized in project management, we do have them. So there's a lot of things that can happen. Finally, in any country where the laws aren't that very, very strict, and obviously it is the right time to invest. When Dubai opened up in the early 90s or 2000s, everybody ran there. So where is Dubai today? Everybody have money, but they can't do anything anymore. So the whole place is built. So it's the same story. Everybody is welcome to come and start South Sudan, rebuild South Sudan with us. In a couple of years' time, you never regret. And I think that's the takeaway all the investors are actually feeling. And I think the overall mood of having to deal with Nilepet, I think it's more comfortable than ever before.